Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about what are you doing for the universe? What are you doing for the universe? You know what I mean? A lot of these other beings and entities out here and these demons are claiming to be receiving all these blessings and these rewards, but they aren't doing anything for the universe. What are you doing for the universe? How are you giving back to the universe? How are you moving more righteously? What are the things you're doing to counter the unrighteous things that you are doing? You know what I mean? Everybody is diving into this information looking for some kind of reward or pat on the back, like some kind of get rich quick scheme. You know what I mean? But it's like, what the fuck are you giving back to the universe? What have you done? What have you sacrificed for the universe, for the greater good, you know, for principles, morals, and values? What have you sacrificed? Everybody going through hard times out here, but you got a lot of beings out here who going through hard times and they turning content on and they like, well, this is my situation. I sound like that and I should be receiving these blessings and, you know, I just got to keep my head, blah, 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 blah. What are you doing? What are you sacrificing for this spiritual war right now? Because our values and principles are being tested every day. And a lot of beings aren't making that sacrifice. They're masking, they're hiding, they're juking, jiving, and they're doing everything else under the sun. You know what I mean? Like even me, when I have received rewards from the universe, I had to go through a tremendous amount of ish to get that reward. And I'm talking about rewards that actually weigh, like house car. Not saying I received house car, but I'm just saying in general, house car is weight compared to, you know, a candy bar or some bubble gum from the store, and you thinking that was a reward, you know what I'm saying? Or you got a free cup of coffee and you thought that was a reward or something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about real rewards, real sacrifice, the things that a lot of these beings are too afraid to do out here, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, we know a lot of people out here hustle in drugs, opioids, all of that stuff, right? So if you know that you are hurting your community by doing these things because you need $1, what are you doing to counter, you know, for you needing those means for you to survive, to make what you got to make, to do what you got to do for that temporary time? How are you countering that destruction? How are you countering you hurting other beings for $1 bill? And then using that excuse, oh, well, if I don't give it to him, somebody else will. You know what I mean? I done been in those positions. You know, so that's why I'm sitting here and I'll speak up things that I've been through. It ain't too much that I haven't been through. So if I haven't, it's people around me. But that's why I use that as an example. So, like, you got a lot of beings who will listen to, like the 12 tribes. You know, they'll listen to Christian, they'll listen to all these different things, but they are not walking this life. You are not walking this life. You know, if you are harming your community and your peers around you, you should have a great counterplay in order to justify why you took these steps. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us are making decisions in survival mode. So it ain't like the Most High don't know that you making a decision in survival mode and your intentions were to just get a couple dollars. You're only hitting the people who there is no help for them. They're just going to be using the rest of their life. Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And this is just speaking from the man's or any of the females who hustle that same way too perspective. You know what I mean? And that's just from the hustling standpoint. That ain't for the ones who are just naturally witchy, you know, who just naturally do sneaky shit, who just naturally don't make amends for the things they done, who just naturally feel entitled to everything. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of beings feel as though, and these demons get their rewards is because they're operating from that playbook. So if they do something disgusting, then most likely they'll get some more money, their finances will be picked up, they'll get some kind of material item, they'll get to do something that they really like to do or wanted to do, or they'll get to go be with another being that they really wanted to be with or do something. Their reward system is different. So y'all have to understand that they do not get blessed the same way. You know, they get rewards, they don't get blessings. We get blessings. We get blessings, you know. We make a lot of sacrifices for the positions that we in and the things that we want and the things that we do, you know. So it's completely different when you find yourself hitting a rock and then you see them financially elevating. You know, we already know that this Western society is built on their structure, their playbook. You know what I mean? But for us, we gonna get to bear our fruit not just after we go on to our next journey, but even prior, once we remove ourselves or that situation happens to unfold. You know what I mean? So just understanding these things, like, you don't get to just run around and do a bunch of witchy shit and then think that you're not gonna have to pay for it. Like, we make sacrifices, they get small rewards. You know what I mean? We get blessings, they get rewards. They get rewarded. They do get rewarded. They do get rewarded. Y'all gotta comprehend that. Y'all got to comprehend that. They do get rewarded. You know, they get rewarded for fucking up your mental state. They get rewarded for fucking up your financial state. You know, they get rewarded for, you know, fucking up your living environment. You know, they get rewarded for a lot of things, you know. So you just have to understand that's not the same thing as a blessing. That is not the same thing as a blessing, because it won't hold the same weight. And if you already understand the being's characters, then you know that it doesn't really change. You know, they just get a couple rewards, they get excited and they feel like, oh, things is working out for them. Yeah, you following the demonic system. It's going to. We could all do the same thing. You know that, right? We could all follow this demonic structure and have everything work the way it's working for them. Y'all know we could do that, right? Okay. I just like to put emphasis on that, because the same way our legs work and we can walk, the same way theirs work and they can walk. It's just spiritually we choose to be stronger. You know? We choose to operate with something more honest and genuine and sincere. But you gotta realize, like, even for us, like, we gotta put the work in to get those blessings. Like, you gotta sacrifice. We out here in the middle of the battlefield. You know what I mean? Like, you have to sacrifice. If you ain't sacrificing or making no big plays, moves, you know, to like show that you stand with the Creator and the Most High, then you gotta understand, like, you ain't gonna receive them blessings the way you feel like it. Because what happens is sometimes you get tested financially so much that it almost pushes your principles and morals to the side. You know what I mean? So you have to be more aware, especially if you, like me and some of us, we was born without money. Our family don't have generational wealth. You know, these are things that we process in our generation that we've been building on and creating. You know what I'm saying? So people always make it seem like you broke financially. Yeah, but motherfuckers is rich spiritually. You can never take that away from somebody. People have money all the time and they lose it. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make a difference. It's how your spirit is set up. You know what I'm saying? Is your spirit richer or poor? You know what I'm saying? Do you got substance or do you got no substance? Are you a solid being or are you a witch? Are you a witchy witch? You know what I'm saying? So just understanding these things, like, you have to sacrifice. And when you see them getting little rewards, don't put a whole lot of emphasis on them rewards, because them rewards comes with strings attached and it's not from the Creator, so they already gotta pay in a different way. You know what I mean? Nobody can come near you who's moving with the Creator, make it seem like you're some shit, and then they're just gonna split off and then go do their own thing with the Most High and the Creator. That doesn't make sense. If you are God's child, then He put God's children together, okay? He put them together. So if both of y'all in the same space and then one of them is being a witchy witch, then clearly one of them is not God's child. I don't give a damn if we all born here. You know what I'm saying? Just because a maggot is born here don't mean that's God's child. I don't like, a lot of entities get to come through this realm. A lot of deities get to come through this realm. You know what I mean? So we what you say for the deities that's not visible, you know? We gotta be more open when we're using the creator's playbook. You shut that shit down when that witchy shit is going on. That shit is confusing. This shit is more clear and more organized, and it makes more sense. You will have to make those sacrifices. You know what I mean? You have to. I just need y'all to understand, like, people do not get to come beside y'all, say they're God's children, be witchy, and then just run off and think that they're gonna reap some fruitful life. That's not how it's gonna happen. They'll reap some rewards. They'll get rewarded. They will get rewarded. That's not the same thing as living a fruitful life. You know what I mean? So just comprehending these things. So what if somebody gets a new toy here, or a new toy here, or add a new bill here, or a new bill there? They still ain't got no purpose. You know, they're still day to day in it, just trying to figure out how to do what that playbook is telling them to do. Because on our end, we're trying to do what our playbook is telling us to do. So y'all have to understand that if our playbook is having us operate a certain way and we feel obligated, wouldn't you feel and process that they would have the same thing with the other playbook? They feel obligated to operate with that playbook. You know what I mean? So just understanding these things, we have to make real sacrifices. Everybody want these blessings, but ain't putting in that sacrificial work. You know what I mean? Maybe you had to stop smoking for a long period of time. Maybe you need to stop drinking. Maybe you need to stop going over near a certain crowd of people or a certain location. You know what I'm saying? It's numerous things that we have to sacrifice in order to receive these blessings, and a lot of beings aren't. You cannot say you're a God's child, but you cry about your weight being a fat ass, but then you're still eating and ordering out and not working out. That's not what God's children do. We're not gonna lie and juke ourselves in that manner. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna fucking put the work in. That's why we're making it this long and being this solid and still giving this word. You know what I'm saying? Most beings beside us don't even give a fuck what we got to say. They ain't even trying to hear what we got to say. They'd rather go somewhere else and get it. You know what I mean? And that's how you know we're dealing with demons, because you should be able to receive the information from the people beside you. You should be able to receive the information from the people beside you. You know what I mean? So if you ain't making the sacrifices, just understand it's gonna be harder for the blessings to come. And that's always a tough one for me too, because I'm constantly making sacrifices, but sometimes I feel like the sacrifice isn't big enough. You know, that's where my catch-22 comes in at. It's like, all right, say I cut off 1, 2, 3, 4 things, I add 1, 2, 3, 4 things, I'm sacrificing, I'm adding additions, but then it's like, my spirit be like, that still ain't enough. It just still don't be feeling like enough. The way this war is set up, like, you have to have a tremendous amount of sacrifice, energy, effort put in, along with standing solid on your principles, morals, and values, and understanding what is happening on around you, because you gotta protect and defend yourself. You know what I mean? We just gotta be aware of these things at all times. You know what I'm saying? You have to sacrifice in order to get them blessings. If you ain't sacrificing, them ain't blessings from my team. Those ain't blessings. We give health and wealth and a lot of other things that come with it. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do get those other material items, that is just a plus from the amount of sacrificing you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Their shits happen immediately. It's not the same thing. You know what I mean? And you'll know that it's not the same thing, because when they receive theirs, it kind of dies out faster. When we receive ours, it holds a lot longer. You know what I mean? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.